Good evening, everybody. I hope that you're doing very well, and welcome to this evening's Contenders live stream, the 16th of October. Where in tonight's stream, I'm going to be going over basic attention token chart of the week, which I think is a really interesting one. So starting with basic attention token, then I want to go on to. Oh, excuse me, that's a bad way to start. Oh wow, sorry, really sorry about that. Okay, then I want to move on. Then I want to move on to indicators, and this was because I had if I'm honest, an absolute barrage of emails and messages from people after last week's stream. I've honestly never received so many emails after a live stream, so that either made me believe, well, last live stream was either really maybe too confusing, or a lot of the questions were also about different indicators. So like tonight's live stream, I really hope I can answer so many questions. And I didn't go through and actually answer every single email, because I received probably about 35, 40 emails. It was like crazy. But that's obviously fine. But some of you didn't get a reply, and that's because I took note of the questions, and I hope to like answer them in tonight's live stream. So it's a little bit of a follow on from last week, where obviously I think there was a lot of confusion, because I kind of not so much hated on the indicators, but like said you want to move away from them and not use them, and then I just, yeah, maybe those were the wrong things to say, because so many people well, basically just had some questions about different indicators. So tonight's live stream, I want to go over some indicators that I personally find useful, and then like integrating these things into your trading, okay, rather than like yeah, I think this makes the most sense to like carry on, because it just seemed to cause so much confusion. So I want to clear that up tonight, basically, by covering these indicators, and the ones that I specifically believe are, you know, useful, some for beginners and some for intermediate advanced traders as well. So I want to go through them, hopefully clear up everything from last week at the same time. Okay, and then I want to review how I'm currently trading Bitcoin in the midterm bias. Okay, so tonight we're going to be going through a lot of different indicators. I'm sure some of you have never, possibly anyway, never seen some of these indicators before, so hopefully it will be like a little yeah, you'll learn something new tonight as well with different indicators, and then you can implement them into your trading. Like these ones that I'm going to go through tonight, I really like. So yeah, I think my words last week of never use it, I don't think I actually said never use an indicator, but like that I don't use them, rely on them, and I can trade without them. That still maintains true. But tonight, anyway, you'll see by the end of tonight's live stream. I very much hope. Yeah, and then so yeah, let's begin with basic attention token first, and then we'll obviously get on to the main lesson in 5-10 minutes. So starting with basic attention token, as you can see, if you follow basic attention token, obviously I've been trading basic attention token now for a few weeks, like a month. It's one of my favorite coins to trade. Honestly, I would say in terms of altcoins, I really love trading Link, basic attention token, currently ZRX actually, and Ethereum and Bitcoin. Like these are my main like sort of alts that I really find trade absolutely really technically, especially I think Link is my number one for technical trades, to be honest. Like that is just unreal. But yeah, basic attention token is up there with one of my top coins. I really do love this coin to trade. So obviously this one was aiming up for target number 2 being the top daily here. Okay, this was literally just posted yesterday. In this time we've hit target number 1, which was the first daily level, and we have rejected, so I have been stopped out of this trade, but hit take profit 1, so it was okay, but wasn't the best that it could have been. I'll go through some of the reasons why I believe we've topped out here. But yeah, basically it was a long entry. We're already with the momentum. I've already been trading this one a while, but it was essentially adding in for a day trade. So I've already been in this position from well, I'll show you in a minute, but I was already in this, and this was just adding on with the momentum. The momentum was really strong on this coin yesterday, and this is a kind of one of the reasons why I actually chose basic attention token yesterday, was for this reason, if I'm honest. Not so much that the setup was amazing, more that I wanted to show you that when I see a coin with strong momentum to the upside, I will happily buy with that momentum if you see no signs of it slowing down. And this might confuse some people, because I've said many times, you only want to be buying on retracements and you only want to be shorting on moves up. Okay, that is still maintained correct. This is now from a day trader's perspective. Okay, so I hope that you can differentiate between the two of us. Like a swing trader, you should not be aiming to ever buy in e.g. market buying on moves down, or shorting, or no, sorry, shorting on moves down, or buying on moves up. So essentially like FOMOing. But this, I hope this is going to help you understand of when buying with momentum for me personally makes sense. Okay, and in the end, this was about a 5% gain. Well, still had 5% continuation to the upside, and for a day trader, okay, so get in my mind that this was more of a day trading position when I entered this. Okay, top target maybe a little bit too much of being the second daily. Obviously 15%, the coin was already up 15%, but yeah, that was the secondary target, and obviously target number one being the first daily, which hit, and we got a rejection from here. But yeah, this was going in with the momentum. That there was no signs of it slowing down, and if you see no signs of it slowing down, obviously you want to wait for that little retracement. You're not buying a market, you're waiting for that little retracement to essentially get in and just continue that momentum up. And I think another one that's really good example, so that's similar to this recently, has been Link. Link obviously was, in my opinion, Link and basic attention token, they moved very similarly, that's not even a word, very similar in their movements, both very impulsive. ZRX, another one, the best three altcoins along with XRP, in my opinion, as at the moment over the last week or so, they've been on fire. So these four coins, really, you can be buying with this momentum or aggressive buy. So obviously, if you were in the Champions live stream on Sunday, you know that I was doing that aggressive buy on XRP, because I believed XRP, we could get in on that aggressive 618, literally a 5-minute retracement, to trade that back up. And as you all know, on Sunday's live stream, even that 618 retracement wasn't hit for the second time off of a 5-minute chart, and it continued up for another about 5% to the upside. So like these aggressive entries on coins that are flying are absolutely acceptable, in my opinion. Okay, like how I day trade this, if I see a coin with momentum, I will happily make an aggressive, what I class an aggressive entry to get in on these coins. Okay, so I was looking for an aggressive entry, and obviously there was a little bit of a pullback. We hit a top here, and we did get a pullback, okay, and then this was buying with as you can see here, a long lower wick, and you know, getting into, hopefully, I was hoping to get into the up to a top daily target. In the end, we topped out here, and I'll show you what that looks like on the next screen. Short-term trade, it kind of was more of a day trade. You know, stop loss back below the monthly. Obviously, this is quite a wide stop loss for a day trade, but this was more for just having this entered, because this is another question that I get asked a lot. Why, when I'm day trading, I don't actually have this stop loss set in the order books. So when I'm actually at my computer, I won't manually have this stop loss in place. I do mental stop losses. It's only if I go away from my computer, I'm sleeping, etc., then I place hard stop losses. So this was a stop loss that I had like mentally, but I didn't place anything in the order book. I don't trade like that when I'm day trading. I just use a mental stop loss. That's just how I day trade. So yeah, stop loss below the monthly, but mentally moving up basically with higher lows. And take profit one at the first daily, resistance close out at the second daily. Okay, and now you can see this is the sort of review of how it's gone. So take profit one was hit on the first daily level. Okay, so we hit take profit one. Okay, and then we got a bit of a retracement, and this is one that I left for kind of a swing trade. Hit take profit one, we saw this retracement down, and I had my stops traced below this low, and I just felt like leaving it overnight, and unfortunately it did retrace heavy down to this monthly level overnight. So I got stopped out of the position totally. Overall, a small gain. Okay, small gain, but nothing to really shout home about. But I would like to review this. Oh yeah, while I see this, look at this cap. This is so cool. Chart Champions cap. Shout out, that is so cool. Sorry, that just reminded me there. But basic attention token. So what we can see here, so let's go on to the 5-minute time frame and just show you how we were looking at this. So obviously we had this sort of aggressive entry. So this is when you're looking for like these aggressive entries. So this is me waking up. So as you can see here on the time, this is around 8 a.m. and I posted this yesterday in the trading updates of a coin that I would be looking to scalp in the day, obviously when you come across the trading updates. So this was one looking to scalp basic attention token, ZRX, and Litecoin. Okay, so those were the coins that I identified in the morning that I wanted to scalp trade in the day. Okay, so then you can see an like aggressive sort of entries when you're going from high to low. Okay, obviously you don't get a full retracement to the 618, but if you add on some moving averages, okay, what you can see is a little bit of a pullback, losing a 5-minute 26, pumping back through it, retesting old resistance as support, and you carry on again, and then up to daily. So this is obviously what I'm like overall referring to here is you're clearly in bullish market structure. This is this is exactly what you want to see. This is what I class as momentum. You know, low, high, higher low, higher 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 high. Where's the trend change? Arguably here, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Obviously a little bit of a move up, but overall I was getting stopped out around trailed my stop up to this low. So I trailed my stop up to this low, take profit one, and then I moved, had a stop loss here, and then overnight you can see there was a little bit of a bounce from it, but eventually getting stopped out in the early hours and just waking up to a stopped out position, obviously. But yeah, that's what you see, that's what you're looking at for like real clear bullish market structure. Okay, I'm going to show you another indicator that you could use to look at momentum, and this is called the Awesome Oscillator. There you go, Awesome Oscillator. I really like this when looking for divergences, how strong a move's going. Obviously what you can see here is on the move priors. Okay, so when I was looking to enter this coin, so when this is obviously when I was looking to enter, I hadn't seen this. Obviously you're getting the bearish divergences at this daily. Okay, but what you can see is the coin itself, basic attention token, was making these higher highs on the momentum. Okay, so I've got a slide for the Awesome Oscillator coming up for it, by the way, so I'll explain more on this. But this was a nice example of the Awesome Oscillator as well, and it really is awesome. Bill Williams for you. But yeah, here you can just see the momentum, obviously clearly going up and up on each move. A little bit of bearish divergences here, but nevertheless, overall you were seeing a steady increase of momentum on each move up. Okay, and now I'd like to show you the confluences of why I believe that we could have put in a potential top here. Okay, well, firstly, the retrace that we've seen. This monthly level is really important for me, so maybe if we close this monthly above, then it's fine. But just a few reasons of confluence of why there's a potential top. Okay, mainly looking from an Elliott wave perspective on this one. Okay, if we just come down to the 4 hour, make it nice and clean, what you can see is a potential here. Wave 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 and a 5th. Okay, so when you see 5 waves up like that, first off, 5 waves up coming to a daily resistance. Does this mean the move's over here? Absolutely it does not. Okay, there's definitely the possibility for this to obviously be a heavier retracement and up for another wave. All you would be aware of here is let's just load it up so I can show you a live example of it again. So the Awesome Oscillator. Okay, so this is on the 4 hour time frame. So our last peak on the 4 hour is clearly gaining momentum. So that would basically give you an overview that there's more to come of this move. Okay, when you see the high of this oscillator from the last one, what one could argue, okay, is that this move still is gaining in momentum. There's still another leg up to come. Okay, so there would still be another leg up to come. What's the arguments against this? Okay, argument number one is if you take the, I know some of these concepts might be foreign to you as well, but I'm sorry about this. But if you take the length of wave 1 here and you project it from the end of wave 4, you get this 1-to-1 extension. And look how perfect you literally hit the 1-to-1. So this is what you call confluence of a 5th wave. In my view, that's how you get a wave 5 target, and it hit wave 5 target to pretty much the cent on that daily level when you got a rejection. So in my opinion, that's a real strong candidate of a wave 5 being in. Okay, so all I would argue that this is incorrect, okay, is that wave 3 didn't extend. Okay, wave 3 did not get an extension here, and if that's the case, then what this could be is that we are still in wave 3. Okay, and this actually needs to be relabeled that 5 is higher. We're still working on wave 3, or potentially wave 3 in there, and then we've just hit a 4 and we're coming up for a 5th again. Okay, so this is my most preferred scenario, that this is all part of a wave 3. Maybe still even to go, and we're moving up again basically for wave 5. What's really important for me is this monthly level here. If we sort of break down, okay, get a daily close below this, then one would be more looking for a more bearish bias. But really, I still believe there's more to come on this coin for a move to the upside again. Okay, so yeah, obviously you can see the reasons of why it was a good take profit, but overall here I am still expecting this to come up for another wave. Okay, potentially always look for a double top, or eventually up to this daily level. I still believe there's room for this to come up to here. Secondary level I would be aware of are these highs. Okay, so that would be your sort of viewpoint of this coin, coming up to around the highs, then up to that secondary daily level. I still believe basic attention can absolutely move up to this target, in my opinion. Yeah, Yeah, and let me also show you about on this. So where were we here? Okay, so this was obviously a really nice Fibonacci pull for how to get in originally in on this move as well. Okay, so obviously from low of where it got impulse. So we were inside of this. We were inside of this. Parallel channel, okay, and I hope that you can all remember this because I covered this on a contenders stream. Can you remember this one where I literally was covering this in the contenders stream for you all? I was covering it right here. It was literally covering it here inside of this channel, and I said while we were sat here, look for the pullback onto the daily to look for the buys because I believed we would still move up again to at least this. Okay, and what we done was we back tested that daily perfectly, got the move up, back tested that channel, moved up again. E.g., the start of the impulse really started at the bottom of this channel. Okay, with that in mind, take the Fibonacci tool from where the move started to get impulsive, e.g. the bottom of the channel, up to the top. What did you do here? You back tested the 618 perfectly. This for me is an entry every day on a coin that's already impulsive. From there, that's a 28% gain. But then what you have in here from a sort of a day trader's perspective as well, which is really nice. If you missed that 618 bounce, okay, then look what happened here. What you had, okay, was from the low of that wick, which is obviously this yellow line is the 618. You get the bounce. Let's say you missed that bounce. Don't beat yourself up because you guess what? You get another entry on it. Okay, retraces back down to the 618 and you even get another go at it before obviously this takes off. In the end is kind of a bit of history, and this is just taken off like it took off like wildfire, to be honest. So yeah, what you could be looking for if you're not in a position, I would say, on this one is really watch how this monthly goes. This for me is a key level, not just because it's the monthly, but also you obviously have the height of these moves. One would hope for this to act as a old resistance flipping into support, and you could also take another fib from here. You see you've got a 618 just below you, so there's obviously support still here. There's still support here to play this back up essentially. Invalidation really would be yeah, for me, really I wouldn't be too happy if it starts closing below the monthly, if I'm honest. I would wait for the daily close. That confused some people, I think, but yeah, waiting for the daily close is not a bad thing. I'm not in a position right now on basic attention token because I got stopped out, but yeah, if it closes above the monthly again, then I would trade this again long, but I'd give this a little bit of waiting time. What could you also use for confirmation? Well, you probably have a nice well, most simplest thing you can just take here. So you try and take the 382. Then what have you done here? Looks like you've gone low, high, low. So you have changed this 15-minute market structure as well. E.g. aggressive buys here, stop loss below the lows, to be honest. But yeah, you might want to wait for this high to be taken first, fill in the gap, try and get through the 618, and then it's off to the races, to be honest, up to that next daily level. So I hope that basic attention token has made a little bit of sense for you here. Just so you are all aware as well, by the way, as I move on to the next slide, the Fibonacci live stream series, obviously the educational live stream for Fibonacci is going to be starting at the end of this month. So I know that you're all looking forward to that. I'm very sure you are. So hopefully all these sort of terms with fibs, you're gonna absolutely know off by heart by the time I've finished with that. So that's to look forward to as well. Let me just do a few questions here, and then I'll move on to the start of the live stream tonight, or the start of the the focus. If back closes above monthly, would it be a good entry again? What time frame do you want to see this close? You could wait for the daily close, which is not going to be very long at all. The daily close coming in 5 hours, so you could wait for 5 hours. Obviously your aggressive entry is now potentially stop loss below the very low of this move, which is a 15-minute trend change. Second option is waiting for this high to be taken, and third option would be wait for the daily close, enter with really stop losses below the low of the day, which is down at 2488. Do you have a few ways to trade this? I'm also not in a position at the moment. I'm not going to enter a position now. Myself, I'm not trading tomorrow, so that's just, yeah, I'm not trading tomorrow. So I myself will look to take an entry tonight, if I'm honest. I'll look to take an entry tonight, set my stop losses, let it run for 24 hours, just because I'm not trading. Yeah, for me, it's worth the risk, but you could at least wait for this 4 hour to close, which is 1 hour 10 minutes. See how this closes. Obviously, you've seen it, that bit of a move down. See how this closes in 4 hours. Do you close above these highs? If you do, then that's obviously great, and you could look for that entry. So yeah, that's how I'd look to trade. Basic attention token, I would still look for longs, to be honest. Although I'm not in a position literally right now, I definitely would look for a long. Um, when do you do Elliott wave analysis in notes? I saw that front you made a much more detailed Elliott wave count. Like I trying to answer this one a bit more swiftly. Like for Elliott wave counts on altcoins, I would never trade exclusively off the Elliott wave count. It's just like in situations like this, it just helps make things more clear. You know, this is the most simplest Elliott wave you're ever going to see. Obviously, in comparison to some of my proper Elliott wave counts, this is the most basic thing you've ever seen in your life. It's just put in 1, 2, 3, 4 when you can obviously compare it to a sort of detailed count like this. I don't bother doing detailed counts like this really on altcoins because I mainly just day trade. I'm not in the sort of same swing positions. E.g., if I can just get a basic overview of a wave 1, what are we in wave 3 or are we likely topping out here? In my opinion, there's still room to come for a wave 5 up. This is obviously so basic, but yeah, you can put, to answer the question of when do you do Elliott wave analysis in alts? Depends on the kind of the time frame I'm trading. Is there an easy count to do? E.g., this is like really easy count. So yeah, just put on something simple, and then you could try and do sub waves as well. It's just, for me, it's time consuming. When I do a proper Elliott wave count, it is really time consuming. So yeah, with the altcoins, I generally don't do Elliott wave counts on the altcoins. If I am only looking for them for more, day trading perspective, I wouldn't. Well, I guess on the overall, you can have like basic ones like this, but fully detailed, low time frame sub wave counts, I just don't generally do. But you could put something on this. I could probably run through this chart, to be honest, in 10 minutes. But yeah, that I generally trade more from fibs and level to level on altcoins. I actually use Elliott wave more in stock market and Bitcoin itself. To answer that question as well. But yeah, moving on. Cool. So, indicators. So let me just take a drink really quickly. So yeah, indicators. Oh yeah, and just one for the, I saw that on ontology you made a much more detailed Elliott wave count. I can't remember doing an Elliott wave, like my ontology chart doesn't have an Elliott wave count on. I can't remember doing an Elliott wave count on ontology actually, but this is obviously just got some levels in here. This is a really plain chart at the moment, just like Bitcoin is a really plain chart at the moment because I accidentally, like, TradingView deleted everything I had. It was really annoying, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the 5-minute time frame, by the way. But literally, TradingView just deletes it everything for me, and it's like really frustrating. It removes so many of my charts, so that's why this looks really blank as well. But it's so frustrating TradingView right now. But anyway, getting caught up by this, moving on to what I want to cover today, which is indicators. Okay, so this is primarily because of the amount of possible confusion I caused from last week's stream, talking about divergences and looking at divergences specifically on the RSI. I just received an influx of emails from people asking about certain indicators. Do I recommend their indicator? A lot of questions like that, to be honest. And you have to remember that there are thousands of indicators, and I haven't seen all of the indicators that you are all telling me. Some of these are custom indicators made by people that I've never even heard of as well. So, I mean, you have to make your own decision. If you are here to learn from me, which I presume that you are, then I would say really, if you don't see me using something and you want to learn my style of trading, then I would say you don't want to be using that indicator. If I'm honest, like, I've got a proven track record. I'm a good trader. I'm a profitable trader, and I don't use every indicator under the sun. I keep it very minimalistic in terms of indicators. Okay, these ones I'm going to go through tonight, I'm not referring to every single trade sort of thing. So some of the indicators that you've sent me, firstly, I've never even heard of them, so I cannot give opinions on indicators I've never heard of. I would say you have to back test it yourself, because I'm not gonna go through back testing these indicators for you. Not gonna do it. And secondly, if you want to learn my style, I would personally say you're best off not using it anyway, and kind of referring to the methods that I use and mimicking me, at least to begin with, and then obviously as you advance as a trader, then by all means bring in some other things if you want, but hopefully you won't need that. But yeah, tonight I want to go through some of the indicators that I believe are very useful, that you could refer to on like a daily basis, pretty much. So yeah, In tonight's stream, I want to address a lot of these questions, give a list of indicators I think are good to check out. This is more of an introduction to them tonight while clearing up some confusion. I may go into more detail in other streams. E.g., for example, tonight I was debating mentioning Ikamochu Cloud, but then I feel that this is definitely a requirement for its own live stream rather than getting it in tonight. That is one definitely for its own live stream. It's too complex to cover in like a 10-minute segment while I'm going through lots of them. So there are other indicators like this that require their own live stream. And if you want me to go into more detail, obviously on one of these, I'm going to mention the volume profile tonight. That will require its own live stream as well, but I'm going to like briefly mention it tonight. So tonight is like an overview of the indicators, clearing up some questions, and then in later streams I want to do Fibonacci first, but after I've finished Fibs, possibly then Elliott waves, and then as we move on to other things I'll cover them in more detail. But yeah, hope that makes sense as well. So let's begin. So firstly, lagging indicators. This is something that's really important. Okay, so you must remember that a lot of these indicators I'm going to go through tonight are lagging indicators. So what does a lagging indicator mean? It means that the only way you can get the value of this indicator, so let's use RSI for example, okay, RSI or even simply moving averages, okay, when you're doing the calculations for a moving average, obviously you need old data because you're getting all the old data to put on that moving average. So you can never really never's the wrong word. You shouldn't be looking at moving averages as a leading indicator in terms of it's going to predict the future. It's all it's doing is telling you what's happened in the past. It's not really predicting the future. Obviously, people will use crosses. I think the best example of what I want to use on this one is the MACD cross. Okay, so let's just this is the best example that I can think of here because it's like I saw it a lot. MACD. So the real simple MACD, yeah. Real simple MACD. You've probably seen this before. I myself have never promoted it, but I'm sure you've seen traders use it because it's quite a big one in my opinion. The MACD crossover strategy. I'm sure you've heard of this, where people will buy as the MACD crosses bullishly on the MACD lines, and they will look for sells when the MACD crosses here, okay? Why do I believe this is an absolutely awful trading strategy? Personally, because if you got the cross here for a bullish cross, well, the move has already started to happen. Okay, the same here. You got a bearish cross, but the move has already started to happen. Obviously, in the end, you got a bearish cross here and prices move down. But if you're shorting a bearish cross, which is happening here, okay, are you then likely to hold this drawdown of the move back up? I don't know, because I don't know. All I think is overall this is a bad strategy. All you're looking at with these crossovers is past data. I'm a trader that wants to, let me just load that back up. I'm the type of trader that wants to be looking to short at the highs of the moves, not shorting once the bulk of the moves already happened, if that makes sense. I would never look to trade off of a lagging indicator, basically, such as MACD crossovers, because I believe if something's crossed over, well, you've already missed the majority of the move, or you've already missed the lion's share, let's say, of the move. Obviously, this is good for confirming a bias. Let's say you've got a bearish bias. Like I do have a bearish bias on Bitcoin right now. So to see this crossover, for example, is only adding strength to the bearish bias, for example. And the same with crossovers. So when we refer to moving averages, and let's come out to the daily. So for example, once you've seen this crossover on the daily of the 250, obviously it's a good buy. It's a good buy, and it's also giving you confirmation this is a good uptrend. But if you're buying on the crossovers, like I've done a live stream on the crossovers, but essentially you've missed the lion's share of the move, and I missed the lion's share of this move. But it's just like important to realize. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that they're lagging indicators essentially, and if you get a moving average crossover, obviously the move's already happened. Crossovers on MACD, for example, the move's already happened. Obviously though, like I've just mentioned at the end here, they are used for confirming a trend. So if you get like a death cross of your moving averages, well, that's confirming the downtrend, just giving you bias. But one would hope that possibly you've already got entries before a bearish cross, even before a death cross, for example, because you'd have used hopefully some leading indicators of getting that bias before it happens. Okay. And I also want to note that this isn't to say that moving averages you cannot use moving averages as a leading indicator by predicting that price may be rejected from a new moving average in the future. Best example of this is on the daily here. Load up the 200. Okay, what we can see here is the 200 as price came back down below the 200, say here. Okay, what you could use is the moving averages in terms of a leading indicator in envisaging a move back up to test this to move back down. So this is an example of a moving average in kind of being like a leading indicator in the fact that you're envisaging price before it gets there to reject from the 200 to move down. It's like an example that I can give you of how you can use them as a leading indicator, but obviously they're plotted from past data, but just a way you can use it like that. Okay. So moving on to some of the indicators now that I personally recommend. I believe they're good. So the first, you've probably heard of it. It's quite a simple tool, if I'm honest. It's the average true range. Okay, you can obviously adapt this in many different ways. And tonight is not necessarily about a average true range trading strategy, which I could do an hour on itself, because there's so many ways you could use this. But in its most simplest form, I would say you're never going to go wrong by referring to the average true range at the start of the day. You cannot go wrong with looking at this. So it's a good, in my opinion, a good indicator to check. Okay, specifically in the stocks, specifically if you like to trade stocks. In crypto, I actually don't refer ever to the average true range. So, you know, I know majority of people here only trade crypto, but nevertheless, if you want to expand out, I don't refer to this in crypto, but I do refer to it in the stock market. Used to refer to it all the time in Forex as well when I traded Forex. Average true range. So what is the average true range? The average true range is literally what it is in the title. Let's say that you've got the average true range on a 14 period look back. Okay, it's going to take the average candle moves, okay, over those last 14 bars and give you the average move of that look back period. Okay, so obviously when there's more volatility, you'll get a bigger number. So for example, Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart here, its average move over the last 14, well, I've personally got it set on 14 bars, so 14 times 14 on the 4-hour chart. Obviously come out to the daily, it'll be 14 days worth of data, and obviously you can also change this. So if we just load this up a second, so if we just load up average true range, okay, you can see right now on the daily the average true range for Bitcoin is around $374. Okay, if you come across to something on the stock market like Snapchat, okay, that's moving at around 0.63 cents excuse me, on the daily chart here over the last 14 days. Okay, so how is this useful? So how is this useful for you? Well, you might ask. Well, basically, it's useful for you. So if you see Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, let's say you're trading off the 4-hour chart, and you see the average true range is $100, then you might look for targets. Okay, let's say from the easiest is the daily. So let's say you're trading on the daily time frame, and you've got an average true range over the last 14 days, let's say, or maybe you want to change it to 30 days. Let's say you change it to 30 days for the last month. Okay, you change it to 30 days, you'll get the average price over the last 30 days, and maybe you could, at the start of the day, if you've recognized a good setup, so this is not going to tell you to enter or sell. Obviously you can't use this as a buy or sell signal, but what you can do is let's say you were shorting here, okay, at 280 on Bitcoin, and you saw the average true range was $100, let's say, and it was the start of the day, you've just opened, then you might want to have your stop loss at least $100 away. So you would have your stop loss at the very least $120, okay, because you know the average true range is 100. So if the average true range on the daily is 100, then maybe you move up the $100 because that's the average range that it moves in a day. Okay, it's just one way of using the average true range, essentially, that you can use this for stop losses. I think I wrote about it here. Yeah, it can be. So here you go. So you can use it for stop loss. I'm sure I wrote it down that you can use this for essentially your stop loss placements. Okay, so you don't really want to be. I mean, I use this much more in Forex, but you never really want to be placing your stop losses inside of average true ranges because you're more likely to get. You could get hit on a down day and then it continues in your desired direction, and also you can integrate this into price targets as well. So if you're seeing $100 average true range, for example, then maybe your target could be integrating $100 into that as well. I will say that I do not use this for targets or stop losses anymore, but this is just a strategy that you could test. Okay, it's just good to be aware of what the average true range is, and then just be aware of that when you're entering stop losses and price targets. I mean, I will tell you now, I never ever exclusively use this for stop losses or targets, but it's good to be aware of what it is, look for confluence, and just generally not put your stop loss inside of what the average true range is. It would be not really too sensible. So yeah, average true range, I recommend this is a good one for you to be aware of and test it out. Okay, so moving on to the second one that I'd like to go through, which is the ADX. Okay, this is great for swing traders. Okay, so I'm going to say right off the bat, you never want to be referring to this as a scalp trader. Okay, or I never would. This is one that I personally, I'm not looking at a daily sort of time frames, because I can see this without having to refer to the indicator. But the reason I've included this tonight is because I believe for newer / intermediate traders it could be very useful. I really do believe that, because it's a good way of, if you're confused what the trend is, well, this is going to basically tell you what the trend is. It's going to tell you how strong the trend is. You've all heard the saying, well, trade with the trend is your friend, until it's not. But you know, this is a good way of judging what the trend is. Is the trend up? Is it down? How strong is the trend? It's a good trader for, in my opinion, new indicators. I never refer to this. I've only added it in because I believe it will help hopefully somebody just to refer to on the daily, you know, give a quick check, what's it doing. Okay, so what is the ADX? Okay, so the ADX is trading with a trend is one of the easier ways to trade for newer traders. Okay, the ADX can determine how strong a trend is and which direction it's going. Okay, so if you find this confusing, I think it will be good for you. Okay, so the ADX, so that you're going to see three lines basically. You're going to see three lines down here on the ADX. Okay, the first ADX is obviously just the ADX line, which is this one in white. Obviously, I'll load it up on the chart in a minute. You can change the colors all you want, but the ADX line is going to be by default a white line. The DMI plus is the difference between two consecutive highs, and that will be in green, and the minus DMI is the difference between two consecutive lows, and that will be in red. Okay, so when the ADC, when the ADX is between 0 and 25, so this white line, as you can see here, there are numbers which you can scroll up and down on the side. When the ADX is between 0 and 25, there is no strong trend, e.g., it's going sideways. Between 25 and 50, the average trend is just averagely moving up or down. It's not a strong trend at all. Pretty much a little bit better than sideways, but there's no strong trend. 50 to 75 is a strong trend, and 75 to 100 is literally the strongest trend you can get. This thing is going impulsive. Okay, so bulls have the edge when the DMI plus is greater than the DMI 0. So e.g., very simply, if the green is above the red, then it means you're getting an uptrend, and if the red is above the green, then you're in a downtrend. So if we just load this up so you can visually see as well what this looks like. Okay, so you'll just come across to indicators, type in ADX. I think I have this on the favorites. Here we go. So average directional index with DI plus and DI minus, and this is by Robert, this guy. Okay, so this is, oh, didn't try and load that up twice. Let's just remove this a second. Okay, so here what we can see on Bitcoin on the daily chart, okay, is the ADX line is currently around 43, 44. So there's quite a an average sort of trend. It's above it's in around the medium sort of stages. It's quite a strong trend to the downside, not overly strong. What we can say is, this is what I mean. You can tell without even looking at this, to be honest, that the trend is obviously down. Okay, the DMI minus is above. Okay, but that's also going down, by the way. But this is just giving you a bit of information that the trend is obviously going up. So you're coming down in price. The ADX is going up, which is signaling to you that this is a strong downtrend or a medium sort of strength downtrend. The favors with the bears. Okay, you can also see the DMI minus is above the green, which is also signaling to you that the bulls are in control. All I would note with this, to be honest, is obviously this red line, the minus, is going down. So if that's going down and the green is going up, then if you're looking at this indicator, then you could, although on the very short term here, you're obviously seeing this turn around a little bit here. You are seeing it now head back down and this head somewhat back up. So there might not be a cross that actually comes. But yeah, this is just a way of looking at a trend. I mean, giving you the strength of a trend. So as you can see right here, you were sat at 57. Okay, 57. That's obviously telling you the trend is strong to the upside. And then here you start to see that heading downwards, and then you start to see it pick up again here. So as you see this picking up, okay, the green picking up, the red going down, and the ADX line itself heading back up again, then at this point you would be like, okay, the bulls are definitely still in control of this trend, and you head up. Obviously you get massive bearish divergences here on the thing on the ADX line. But I guess it did kind of call a top. But all you would see here is the price continued to go up, and the trend strength was heading down. So that could tell you that that potentially you're coming to the end of a trend. If you see price going up and the strength of it going down, one could say that it's signaling to you that you're losing strength in this trend. But I think you could tell this without having to look at indicators necessarily. But yeah, this is hopefully a little indicator that can help you looking at Bitcoin. So I guess that's nice because I'm bearish on Bitcoin right now. I'm happy that this is looking bearish, I guess. So yeah, moving on. Let me just see. No questions. Cool. So moving on to the next one, which is one that I gave you a little glimpse of earlier, and I really like this one. So I recommend that you all kind of use it. It's good to refer to. It really is good to refer to across all time frames. You can use this down on the really like the 5-minute chart to the weekly chart. It's a really good indicator. I'm a big fan of it. Okay, so the awesome oscillator. Okay, let's load it up, and you're gonna see it's really similar to the MACD. Okay, so if you've used the MACD before, you're gonna be able to just simply see that this is basically looking at the strength of a move. Okay, so looking for what you look for is divergences. You can also use this for you can use the awesome oscillator itself for buy and sell signals as well. And what you do is you look for a red candle followed by 2 greens on the bottom side, and that would give you like a buy signal. And on the top you would look for no examples here. I don't use that, so I'm not going to go through that in this stream. I literally would use this for looking for the strength in a move, and this is specifically good with Elliott waves, where you would want to see basically divergences on the 5th, okay, and the strongest in the 3rd. Okay, so this is not really too great of an example, but basically what you want to see is something along these sort of lines. If I just draw this out for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and the awesome oscillator doing something like this: 1, highest in the 3rd, and then a bearish divergences in the 5th. So you'd see this on the awesome oscillator with bearish divergences between price and the oscillator itself. I think this is a really great oscillator, basically to use in coinciding with divergences. I prefer it over the RSI, for example. I believe this is a really great indicator. It's not something that I'm referring to all the time, but it really is helpful, and you've probably seen it on my charts quite a lot when I put on the indicators, and it's the awesome oscillator, and it's great. So I do think it's not a bad one to have on your charts necessarily. Okay, and let's see if it's helping down here on the 15-minute, for example. Okay, so yes, it kind of, what we can say here is we're clearly going down on Bitcoin. Okay, and what's this? The strength is from this peak to this peak, we did get more momentum to the downside. So this is what I would want to see. You know, if I'm bearish on this coin, which I am right now on Bitcoin, you know, I want to see this keep going down. Okay, so obviously here on the very low, on the 15-minute, you're making a new low, and this is heading up. But overall, on the picture here, from this peak to this peak, okay, or this valley to this valley, we've clearly made new lows, and we're clearly making more momentum to the downside. So that's exactly what I would want to see when I've got a bearish bias. So this is just backing up exactly what I would want to see. Okay, and then if we come down to the 3-minute here, you've seen a little bit of die off in the momentum to the downside. Okay, so what we can say here is you got a little bit of bullish divergences. You did see a move to the upside, but on the very short term, okay, on the very short term, if we zoom in here really closely, you can see you are beginning to get a little bit of, from this peak to this peak, you are making a lower move here. So that's signaling that this could potentially get some legs and head down further. Okay, so, e.g. because this valley to this valley, you are making new lows on this valley. So that's showing you that this move down had a little bit of momentum. Obviously this can be wrong, but that's what the indicator is showing you right there. Okay, we can refer back to that at the end of the live stream and see if that would have been helpful or not. But yeah, generally I like to use it more in a medium term time frame, and yeah, get an overview of the momentum on a bigger time scale. Would you use awesome oscillator over MACD? Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's really difficult because I do refer to them both, but yeah, the awesome oscillator, in my opinion, is yeah, you don't really need to look at both. I mean, pick one and see what one works best for you. I would recommend the awesome oscillator, but basically the readings are going to be really, really, really similar. So if you load up MACD, for example, the you know, the points are going to be very, very similar. So when you look at this, there's obviously a little bit of difference. Okay, little bit of difference, but they are pretty similar. Okay, pretty similar. A little bit of difference here with the peak that got up here, you never got up here. Well, overall, if you had to pick one and you only want to pick one, then I'd pick the awesome oscillator. I think it's better. So yeah, I'd recommend the awesome oscillator over the MACD, and then it's also not going to give you the MACD lines, which are just also pointless in having on your chart, in my opinion. Yeah, cool. So that's the awesome oscillator. Moving on to oh yeah, so there's your source oscillator, and I also wanted to show you this advanced MACD RSI, and this is another one that I believe is good for newer traders in particular. Okay, and this is called where is it here? Okay, the CM Ultimate RSI Multi Time Frame. Okay, this is a upgraded kind of what I've put here, an upgraded RSI. If you like using the RSI, I would recommend you use this one over the standard RSI. Obviously, I've got my custom indicator as well, but this, in my opinion, is a good one for newer traders. Why is it good? Because what you can do is you can add on to RSIs. So here we are on the daily time frame. Oh, sorry, the 1 hour time frame. Okay, let's say that you are a trader that forgets to zoom out. Okay, lots of newer traders forget to zoom out. They get too focused on what's happening on the 5 minute when they should be looking at the 4 hour, for example. So what you can do on this indicator is essentially add in a second RSI and have that daily all the time there. So you could be looking at what's the daily RSI like, just so you don't forget about it. That's pretty useful in my opinion. And also, just an added bonus, it's going to highlight to you visually when you're oversold, well, when you're overbought, sorry, and when you're oversold, and it's going to give you a little line here to say, look, we're overbought. We're oversold. This could be a potential buy opportunity. Hey, look, we're overbought. This could be a potential sell opportunity. You know, in the end, this kind of picked a high and might pick a low at the bottom. Who knows? But you know, I don't. And again, I don't use this indicator. I've included it tonight because I think a lot of people like using the RSI, which is fair enough. And it's better than the standard RSI. So why not use this over the standard if you are struggling with these sort of things and you would like to use this? This is all free. This is all free on TradingView, by the way. So everything I've included tonight is free. These are not my scripts. They're ones that are freely on the internet. The first one you'd have to search for average directional index with DI plus and DI minus, and that's by Robert. And this one is CM underscore ultimate space RSI space multi space time frame, which is Chris Moody. This guy does loads of indicators. Go onto his page and he has hundreds, which is nice of him. You know, he's doing it for free. But yeah, these are all free on TradingView. You just need to have a basic plan to have that. So yeah, that's another one that I would like to bring to your attention just because I think it's useful. Okay, moving on to the OBV, the on-balance volume. I believe that this is a very good one that you should be referring to daily. So this is one that I would check on a daily basis across any asset that I'm trading. OBV, on-balance volume. So what are you... I mean, I'm not going to go through all the calculations, all the math behind it. That's not what tonight's stream's for. If you would like, I can do a whole live stream again on OBV. Literally spend an hour talking about OBV on its own. Tonight is a very basic overview of OBV, but it's one that you should kind of get accustomed to using because it's very useful, and you can also combine this with the CII, which is the indicator that I'm going to be showing you tonight. Okay, but what you're looking for very simply on OBV, okay, is divergences with the OBV. So I'll load up the standard OBV first, okay? So one of the most basic ways to use this, which is on balance volume, okay, would be looking for divergences in price. So what's the saying is that volume precedes price. So if you start to see divergences between, e.g. making new highs and this making... or here you're making higher highs on price, lower highs on the OBV, then that's obviously a bearish divergence, and this is a stronger divergence in my opinion than a MACD divergence because this is volume, actually money coming in and out of the market. If you start to see divergences on the money, then you know, this is where you can see that volume precedes price action. Essentially, it doesn't work. Obviously, it doesn't work 100% of the time. But you know, if you start to see big divergences between price and volume, money essentially, then that's where you can start to see some nice trades on the bigger term macros start to play out. Again, this is not saying you want to use as a scalper. This is pointless. But if you start using this on the daily time frame, see if there were any divergences up here. I mean, clearly on this uptrend there, you were just getting more and more pump coming in. There was no divergences on this uptrend. That was absolutely healthy. You don't really start to see anything on this. You see nothing really. Then obviously you break down here. There's really standard, but there's not really anything major on this. You want to see like really major differences, and also you can start to, you know, some people will also start drawing patterns on this, so they might draw some sort of like wedge like this, you know, it's like wedges, and if this starts breaking up, for example, from a wedge, then they might envision that the price is then going to start breaking up. If like you start breaking up from patterns on the OBV, then you could use this as a potential signal. Again, I would never ever use this alone. It would be crazy in my opinion to do that. But let's say we, for example, come down to the bottom of this channel support, and suddenly we see a massive spike in OBV as we come down to the bottom and start turning. Okay, then that could signal to yourself that you're going to start to see a move up on price with the OBV like pre-signaling. You know, patterns and divergences are the main use of this, and I'll show you the indicator that I specifically used, okay, which is called, okay, built favorites. It is called CCI coded OBV, and that's by Lazy Bear, another guy that does so many indicators. I don't think they're traders. I just think they do coding. They're really good at coding. So Chris Moody and Lazy Bear, very good. But this is called CCI coded OBV. Okay, as you can see here, it kind of changes color depending on the CCI, but this is basically the OBV. Okay, line in red. This orange line is a moving average that's attached to it. You don't really necessarily need to have that on, but that is just a 13 point moving average. You can remove that if you want. Primarily, you want to look at the OBV, and if you don't want to use this indicator, then you don't get the moving average, but that's just a little bit of confluence between the two. But overall, the OBV, start looking for divergences. Okay, I hope I've not been making this even more confusing for people, because I know that I've not gone into detail on these things. But yeah, you want to start looking for divergences, patterns. It's just another thing to add to your arsenal if you want to add something else to your arsenal. It's definitely not a necessity. This doesn't necessarily make me a better trader, but it's something useful to refer to. In my opinion, why not? More knowledge, more power, more information is better. Will the OBV start to move before price moves? Occasionally. Okay, so it's definitely not 100%. Okay, you're going to see really a lot of false signals on the OBV, just like you see false signals with any indicator. Every indicator gives false signals, and that's generally why I don't like using indicators. But yeah, with this, you will start to see upticks in the OBV before price, and that's just like leading indicator OBV. So let's see if there was anything here. Oh, great trading view, not even loading right now. Typical. Oh, here we go. It's because I changed the scale. Oh, trading view is really annoying at some points. Okay, so did we start to see any divergences here? No, you didn't. So, for instance, on this big move to the upside, there was no way you could have saw this on the OBV, in my opinion. Obviously, some people are going to start putting in a descending triangle. That descending triangle broke up, for example, but it was breaking up as price was moving up, e.g. it's not giving you any signal at all. But generally what you would have wanted to see if you were using OBV would have been price coming down here, stabilizing here, and as price was stabilizing, you start to see this poke up, okay, and then you could say there's a possibility of price coming up here, but I would not ever trade from it. I would just be aware of that and look for a technical reason on the chart to enter a trade. But yeah, generally you want to see that, or you start to see this falling off massively. So this is a bearish divergence on it. Okay, price is, I guess you were heading down here slightly, but here price is heading up a little bit, but OBV is slightly going down. I mean, this is really small divergences. I wouldn't even refer to this on the 1 hour chart like this, but overall from this peak to this peak, you obviously see less, and here you see like a higher price, so that's bearish divergences. Again, this was a rejection from a weekly level, in my opinion, e.g. also taking the highs of this move. So you didn't need OBV to recognize this at all. But yeah, OBV is another one that you could add to your arsenal, and it's not going to hurt. Let's just put it like that. It's useful to refer to. Check this every day. See if you can see a divergence. It is generally useful. Just check it once in the morning. I feel overcooked using indicators. I use RSI and MACD, but sometimes when I look at OBV, it disagrees. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you there, Hop. That tonight's stream, I just felt like it was a requirement for me to do, just because of the absolute influx I had of indicators from people. It was, for me, so crazy. Like, people sending me ones I've never even heard of in my life. Like, I think this is the thing, that this is by no means disrespect as well, because I done it as well when I started to learn to trade, but people are coming at me with like 8 indicators on their screen, and it's just absolutely crazy. These indicators, generally you've got 3 types of indicators. You've got your, I forget the names, you've got momentum indicators, you've got your trend indicators, and you've got your lagging indicators. Okay, so you got 3. I think those are the names. That's really bad offhand. But you got 3 types of indicators, and then I've got people sending me charts with like 5 types of momentum indicators on your chart. Now, I mean, they're all meant to be doing the same job. You only need 1 of these on your chart, but people are coming at me with like 5 indicators, saying, there's mixed signals between them, and it's just like, yes, you don't need this many on your chart. Like, I want to address this question because it's important, that although I'm giving you these indicators today, okay, of what I think is good, I want you to remember, I want to get you through to a place where you're trading with 0 indicators on your chart, really. I want you to be kind of like me, where I would be much happy if I was given the option of having 5 indicators on my chart or 0. I would choose 0 every day of the week. I much prefer to trade with absolutely 0 indicator on the chart. What do you do with these indicators, even the ones that I've given you today? You add them on once you've already got a bias from looking at the charts. Like, this is what I say. Indicators can give you a bias that maybe you wouldn't have had. Like, look at this price action. Okay, simply, this is bearish price action. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is obviously bearish in itself. Okay, you don't need any sort of indicators to look for this. I like to use Fibonacci. That's not an indicator, but Elliott waves, not an indicator. But yeah, these indicators I am giving you today, not necessarily have to have them on your chart all the time. And also, I want to stress that, yeah, you are going to see differences between your indicators. So you might be seeing bullish divergences on MACD, bearish divergences, let's just say, on RSI. Like, these 2 indicators are giving you different opinions, and you're going to be stressed thinking, which one do I follow? And then it all comes back to looking at the chart. Try and remove what the indicators are telling you and look clearly at the chart. And that might sound really, what's the word I'm looking for? Cryptic. But I hope that is not cryptic. Like, look here at the 5-minute time frame. I mean, volume is another like standard indicator you could have on. But look at this. Okay, does this look at it on the 4-hour, man? Does this look to you bullish or bearish? Like, off the bat, what you've been in here, does this look bullish or bearish to you? Obviously, it's clearly bearish. We're making lower highs, lower lows. Okay, you come down to a lower term time frame. You come up, you do a swing failure pattern on the highs. After doing a swing failure pattern, okay, you've come down, you've made another lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, where would be your next area of support? Well, naturally, it's going to be coming back down now to the lows again. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to move on and carry on with it. I'm going to move on from here. I'm not sure where I was going with this, but yeah, I just wanted to clear that out while I saw that question of that he feels overcooked by having so many indicators, and I really agree with that. And although I'm showing you all these today, I don't want you to have them all on your chart at the same time. Okay, but I'm going to move on, and I've seen there's more questions, but I will take these as I go through the rest of this. Okay. So the zigzag indicator, okay, zigzag indicator is another one for newer traders. I'm not using this on the daily, but it's going to be very useful for you if you are stuck with what's the swing high and what's the swing low. So zigzag indicator is very simply going to be showing you swing high, swing low, swing high, swing lows. So if you find it hard to see what the momentum of the trend is, okay, put on the zigzag indicator and it's going to identify you for the swing low and the swing high. And as we obviously get to Fibonacci, which we're going to be at very shortly, well then this is where you could start pulling your fibs from, for example. Okay, this is where you could be pulling your fibs from example. Okay, so you can, if you're sometimes confused about where you can pull fibs, where's the swing high, where's the swing low, well, this indicator is just going to tell you. Okay, so it's going to make it very easy for yourself. Which is great, isn't it? So, I mean, I don't use this, but again, if you are struggling with identifying swing highs and swing lows, well, this is just going to simply tell you where they are. So that could be useful for some people, I believe. Okay, moving on, and that's a picture of that. So the stochastic RSI. Okay, so the stochastic RSI is basically the same as it's very, very similar to the standard RSI. Okay, apart from you've got obviously the K and the D line, and you start getting crossovers then within the RSI. Okay, so here you've got your RSI indicator. This is obviously my custom one, but you've got the RSI and the stochastics in one. Okay, so with the stochastic itself, what you'd be looking for is bearish crosses here. Okay, so you see where the blue crosses down, but below the red. That's obviously a bearish cross in overbought territory. So as you see the bearish crosses here, that could be, if you're using the indicator, a short signal, and you can see it does kind of work. You see the bearish cross, and you do get a little bit of a move down. You find support on the top of the box, and you get move back up. But on the flip side, when you start to see the blue cross the red in the oversold area at the bottom, you can use this as a buy signal. I personally don't really recommend, but I had a lot of questions specifically about the stochastics in the emails of people. Is the stochastics good? Do I use the stochastics over the RSI? That was one that I received probably about 3 or 4 times, of like which one to use. I mean, I've got the indicator where you can look at them both. I would say get to a stage where you don't need this on, but you know, it's not possible to give an answer of stochastics is better than RSI. It's kind of, you have to see for yourself which one kind of fits your trading style. Obviously, the stochastics is quite good if you speed up the time frames from standard, and they're quite good for scalping if you mess around with the settings. But between the two, there's not possible to give me an answer of this one's better than this one. They're kind of very, very similar. Obviously, though, you're just going to see quicker spikes, okay, from low to high. You can see here you went from oversold to overbought very quickly on the stochastics, whereas the RSI didn't even reach oversold, didn't even reach overbought, you know. So the stochastics is a quicker up and down, up and down, up and down move, which some people are going to like that, others are not going to like that, and I can't really tell you which one you're going to like more, because that's very personal to your trading style. But yeah, that's basically how, you know, people are confused how you use it. So you basically look for crossovers in overbought or oversold. Look for those crossovers, and that's essentially the trading strategy with RSI and MACD. Stochastics. It's quite simple. Okay. Moving on. So this is another one. This one I actually believe is really good. Okay, so I believe this is a really good indicator. And this is the MFI, okay, the Market Facilitation Index. And this is one which I've put on TradingView because I think it was great and there wasn't one. So, yeah, if you want this one, then you can come over to my page where given a little bit of an overview. I don't know, maybe some people haven't seen it here, but yeah, this is in my opinion is a good one. Okay, so coming back over here. Okay, so what we can see, let's load it up here a second. So let's load it up on the screen. Try champions, cool. So first, let's give an overview of what it is. Okay, so this is the calculations. Okay, we're not going to go through that really tonight, just put it in there for you. But it basically has 4 colors. You're going to see on the volume at the bottom, instead of red and green, okay, it starts to color code them. Okay, and you've got green, burgundy, blue, and pink. Okay, green is showing you that the trend that you're in is very strong. So let's say you use this in combination with the ADX, and you see that you're trending down on the ADX like Bitcoin is at the moment, and then you see some green bars. Okay, you see the volume is green. Okay, that is signaling to you, okay, that the trend that you're in is strong. Okay, so you would look to join that trend. Okay, so for example, if we start seeing green bars and we're bearish on Bitcoin, that's good because it's signaling to you that the trend is going to continue down. Okay, so green bar forms in the situation that both MFI and volume are up. Okay, it means that there are more Well, I guess you can read all this. I don't need to read it out for you. You can pause the screen. But essentially, the green bar means that the that trend is in in control. Is strength is powerful, and you look to continue that trend onwards. Okay, specifically, you like to see 2 green bars in a row on the 4-hour chart. Brown, okay, is going to be showing you when the MFI and the volume are at a divergence. Okay, you can also refer to this as a fade bar. Overall, you're looking for several brown bars are a signal of a potential reversal in trend. Okay, the blue is going to be when the blue, well, essentially exactly as it says here, blue bar forms when the MFI increases but the volume is decreasing. Okay, blue bars appear at times when newbie traders enter the trend, but professional traders know that it's already too dangerous. E.g., if you see blue bars, you want to be very cautious, okay, of that move. And the pink bar, okay, is going to be also known as a squat bar. This is a Bill Williams, by the way, really good trader. Appears when the MFI is diminishing, but the volume is growing. Okay, so it reflects an increase of trading interest and an active fight between sellers and buyers. Okay, and it could be the start of a breakout or a breakdown. You don't know which way it's going to break, but it brings your attention. Of the 4, I'd pay most attention to the green. Okay, they're obviously all helpful, but the green is the number 1 because it's giving you a good strength or idea of whether the trend is continuing up or down. What you can see of Bitcoin here, just literally what we see right now on Bitcoin. Okay, so as I mentioned, you want to see 2 green bars in a row on the 4-hour chart. So we're on the 4-hour chart. What can we see here? So let's go over from the breakdown. Where can we see 2 green bars in a row? Here, 2 green bars in a row. Obviously, overall, we see the moves continuing to the downside. Then we get 2 green bars here. Okay, 2 green bars, but this would be looking like it's up. This was a bad signal. This was a bad signal. You could have potentially bought in on this and lost. Okay, moving down. Here you have 2 green bars. Here you have 2 green bars showing that the trend is now down on a bigger term time frame. That would have got you a very nice short, actually getting this short. Where do you then have another 2 green bars? Today. You have another 2 green bars today, and you can see from these 2 green bars, you did see another move to the downside. So I guess out of these 4 examples here, you had 3 winners, 1 loser. I think that was 4 examples. 1 winner, yeah, about 3 out of 4, which is quite good, isn't it? So yeah, specifically look at the green, but this is another one that you can add to your arsenal. Start referring to this on the daily. Hopefully it will help. I don't see any MFI values on many BTC pairs. Okay, yeah, maybe it doesn't work on all of them. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to work on trade on some of the altcoins, but I think the bigger ones, well, it definitely yeah, that's really glitchy. That is really glitchy. Maybe I need to change the code. But I'm not sure why it's not working on all of these pairs. Doesn't look like it's working on some of them. I'm going to need to look into that. I am going to need to look into that. I have no idea actually why it's not working on some of these altcoins. If I'm honest, I don't have time to to look into the code over the next few days, but that's something that I can add to my list. I have no idea why this isn't working on some of these coins, if I'm honest with you. I have no idea right now. I'm going to have to look into that. But yeah, you're right. This is not working on some of these alts. And I have no idea why offhand. But nevertheless, I will look into that when I get time, which is probably not going to be on the very short term. God, this stream has gone on longer than what I thought talking about these indicators, man. And I'm not... I'm gonna continue on with these indicators. We've got the volume profile, and this. So 3 more indicators to go. I'm tired of the indicators right now. The next one though is pivot points. I hope that you're all still with me tonight. I feel tonight has been a bit of a I was debating doing tonight's live stream. I really was, or in terms of doing on indicators or going straight to fibs, because I was like hyped to start fibs, but because of the emails, I just felt like doing it. But nevertheless, I'm going to continue with it now, obviously. But yeah, pivot points is the next one. Okay, so pivot points. I'm going to try and speed up the time of this a little bit. I hope that you're like not falling asleep right now. So pivot points is the next one. Okay, pivot points, standard. Okay, all you want to do, double click on this, change it to Fibonacci and hide the historical. So you're going to look like this on your chart, basically. Okay, And here the time frame is going to be dependent. Obviously the daily, you're going to get different pivot points than the 4 hour, for example. But here on the 4 hour, very, very simply, you obviously have your standard pivot point in the middle. Okay, then R1 is going to be resistance, S1 is going to be support. Okay, you've then just very, very, very simply got a resistance and a support line. Some people are going to argue that they're not going to be bullish until it breaks R1 back tests, and then they'd look too long after R1 breaks to R2. The same way some people aren't going to be bearish, funnily enough, until S1 breaks, and then they'll trade it to S2. I do not do this. I do not use this indicator, but I had so many questions about pivot points. I wanted to include it. It's good. It's good if you kind of have no idea what you're doing, I think. If you have no idea what you're doing in trading, then yes, it kind of can be useful. I don't really, I want to say it's good if you're a newer trader. Like some of these tonight that I've included, I don't use, but I do believe they're helpful if you are a newer trader. I mean, I hope that you're at the point where you don't need to use pivot points. But if you want to use it in Confluence, then absolutely you can do that, I guess. But I myself wouldn't use this indicator. People wanted me to talk about it. I've talked about it. I don't use it. It's good if you want to use it in Confluence with something else, I guess. Don't use it on its own. Okay, don't just randomly say, oh, here's support 1, I'm going to buy 141 sats. It just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Bitcoin, for example, you'd be saying, well, this is a Confluence then, I guess, isn't it? We got the upward sloping channel, and you got S1 sat at 7884. So that's what we could argue is a bit of Confluence to look for a bounce. Yeah. So this is nice in terms of that. But yeah. That's what I would just say about the pivot points essentially. And this is if you want to know I found this online, but this is the calculations if you want to know how they're calculated. And just so you know, if I would ever refer to them, what the changes I would make would be to take off the historical points, add on, change it to Fibonacci, and that is it essentially. My throat is killing me. The next indicator that I want to go through, 2 left. God, I'm so bored of indicators. The next is the alligator indicator, okay? And this is basically a fancy one, which is going to refer to 3 moving averages, okay? So it's another Bill Williams one, so 3 from Bill Williams tonight. But this is the alligator indicator, where you've got 3 trend lines, okay? The blue line is the jaw, the teeth are the red, and the lips are in green. So essentially you want to see them widen. This is showing you how strong a trend is essentially. So if you come over to indicators, okay, type in Williams alligator, you get on these 3 trend lines. What we can say now is just very, very simple, saying while they're all together like this, you're not looking to buy or sell because the alligator is sleeping. Okay, the alligator is sleeping at this point because they're all together. As the alligator opens its mouth, okay, the alligator opens its mouth here, that's showing you that this trend is now down. You want to short as soon as you come and back test this, and you can see it works quite well. You got the alligator's open mouth, you back test the green. Well, you're looking for shorts to get moved down, back test the green, move down. You know, you would just keep doing the same, look to short this, and eventually you're going to lose a trade and they're going to all come back together and the alligator is going to go sleep again. So it's as simple as that. This is a very simple indicator, but quite nice if you like moving averages. Okay, that's the alligator. Okay, the last one is the volume profile, and this is probably my favorite of all the ones I've said tonight, and this is why I'd like to do a live stream on dedicated to this. And this is on volume profile. Okay, so the volume profile, how can we use this? Specifically looking at high and low volume nodes. So I like to look at this in, for example, this is ZRX. Looking at ZRX in combination with the weekly levels here, with the daily, with our weeklies, what we can say, for example, is there were rejections at this weekly level where you had high volume nodes. So prehistorically, we had a high volume node here. As price comes up to the weekly, we can have more confidence in this level holding as a resistance because there's a high volume node. Okay, unlike this daily volume, where the daily level, as you can see, it offered no resistance at all, but there was no high volume node. So if there was no high volume node, we could have less confidence in this holding. And then as we come back up to this top weekly, well, this top weekly had a high volume node, so we can have more confidence in it holding as resistance. So we're losing them in combination. If you see a level, like our horizontal level, with 0 volume on it, then you could envision that it might not hold as strong as you might have thought. Because just like I've said many times, Again, you don't need this indicator to know this, in my opinion. I could know this without looking at this, that there's going to be a high volume node here, and there's not going to be one in this area. Because look, price, when it goes down so fast, well, it goes up just as fast. When you run into an area of old consolidation, well, you get resistance, don't you? So, I mean, I don't need to refer to this indicator to know this, personally, and that's just being real with you. But you know, if you want to load up this requires the pro version of TradingView. You can't use this if you're free, but if you got the pro version, then you can use it. I arguably think you don't need it, but yeah, it's pretty useful for like backing up and looking for confluence, where you could say, well, this is the point of control. So one would imagine that you get rejections at this weekly, and you do kind of come up to that weekly. Overall, you do get that quite a strong pullback of, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of pullback, essentially, with upper wicks and pullback of 6 days. So it worked out overall weekly. You sort of pull back, but then you just go higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, up to this top weekly, where you're now running into a high volume node again. Cool. Oh wow, that was for me probably the longest stream that I've done so far in terms of like mentally draining, because I think it's because I've not got the passion for indicators as I do every other tool that I use, and I don't know, tonight seemed to drag for me, so I hope it hasn't felt that bad for you tonight. But yeah, that's indicators for you. I'm not a fan of them, but I just felt the need to do it tonight because I've just never received so many emails about indicators before. It was absolutely crazy. I hope that tonight I've given you an overview of some that I would recommend. You know, I just say now, there's no point sending me all these indicators that you use, because I've not heard of all of them. Some of them are even custom ones that I don't think many people have heard of. But overall, for an overview of the indicators, these are ones that you could potentially use. I personally think that you want to get into the habit of not using any. But yeah, that's my overview of indicators, which I believe are going to help some people here at the very least. Okay. I hope that you're all looking forward to Fibonacci, which for me is going to be amazing. Like, I'm hyped for that. I am absolutely hyped for Fibs, because as you all know, I love Fibonacci. I don't love indicators. But nevertheless, yeah, we're looking forward to that coming up. So that is what I wanted to go over tonight with the indicators. I wanted to end with Bitcoin. Okay, I want to end with Bitcoin before I do call it a night, and then I will answer some of these questions as well. So Bitcoin. Annoyingly, TradingView deleted everything, so I just need to rub up this chart a second. Let's just add in these levels really quickly. Silly TradingView literally deleting everything. So we got our monthly here. This will be good practice to see me doing this for you all anyway, I guess. Monthly there. Okay, adding on the weeklies. We got our weekly here. Okay, we got our weekly here. And we got another weekly. Don't really need this one right here. We got an old weekly here as well. Okay, that's all we need on the weekly. Coming down to the daily here, we've very clearly got our daily level of support here. We got daily resistance up here. So this is all the levels that I wanted to put on for you all. Zooming back out, I wanted to put on the overall Fibonacci from low to high. Oh, that's pretty nice confluence. Seeing the 618 on a weekly, that's 7.2 strong support. I also wanted to highlight the lows of these wicks, which I'm looking to essentially try and swing failure, which comes in at 7435. Okay, so those are the important levels just off the bat for you all. Obviously, I would like to also really briefly show this Elliott wave count, because I think this has been really perfect. Overall, I'm still looking for this wave 5 down to that gold, well, between the lows, which is 7,500 to really 7,800. So this sort of pocket, looking for this to come down in a 345. So far, it's been going pretty nice, but yeah, on the short term, we've obviously looks like we're going to close below 8,000, but we're keeping our eye on 8,000. Why? Because that was, well, obviously a bit above that, but we've now closed through the golden pocket here. So closed through the golden pocket, currently on the 618, back testing 7,000, 8,070 for me would be a short, well, adding to an already short. I mean, I'm short on Ethereum as well, by the way. Ethereum, I've got this count of coming down to around this 130 region. This is quite nice for me because this was a real perfect 618. And then from here, we fell out of the channel, back tested the channel here, and then you've got a secondary move down. So even if you miss the 618, you 100% should have been shorting with this with me, and that's still 5% from here. Because I made it so clear to everyone that I was short in Ethereum and I was bearish on Ethereum, like everyone in the group should have known that. So yeah, Ethereum really nice in my opinion that it's got a rejection like this, and also Ethereum here on the BTC pair has lost this upward sloping channel. So this is all looking nice. But on the short term here on Bitcoin, if you are not in a position on the short term, I'd be looking to really try and get into a short, because I am expecting lower prices. And you see this fib confluence up here, 8,100. Let's say 8,100 is a possible short. Obviously what we can be looking for, expecting, is now you don't want to start breaking above this trend line. Okay, that would be coming in at a max of around 882 depending on how quickly you move up, but this should be an established trend line now. Overview of Bitcoin was that I'm expecting lower prices. Okay, so because we've lost this golden pocket support, obviously what we can do first, because of this channel, it looks so nice on the 4 hour. Like this channel actually is really nice. You see here how we have literally went from top to bottom to top to wicks above the top, and it looks like we're coming down to bottom now. So I would be really aware of this support of this channel, by the way, which, depending again how quickly you hit it, let's say we hit it tomorrow, is coming in at 7,885. We could expect a bounce because it's being respected prior. Okay, so we could expect this bounce back up from here. Don't necessarily think we'll get back up to the mid-range here, but it's very, very possible. While we're range bound, we're range bound. Okay, and essentially we are 100% range bound at this point. So you could, if you are looking for aggressive, look to buy that, trade it back up to this daily, which is also the midpoint. So that could be a potential if you're looking for longs. Okay, or if we just close through here straight away, then you're looking back down to the monthly, ultimately looking down to 7.5. Okay, and then back to weekly, back down there, which is also the golden pocket. So that's a very brief overview of Bitcoin, how I'd look to trade this. Do you hold the bottom of this channel? Make sure you have this one on your charts. It's super valid. Just add it on your chart. It's going to be helpful for you. The confluence here of, do you break the daily? Do you hold the daily? Okay. Do you sort of back test it? Do you not back test it? Do you break through it, back test and move down? These are scenarios that I can't tell you what's going to happen, but you can definitely be looking for on your own chart. Okay. Or do you do something like this? Okay. Or do you do that? Okay. That's obviously a more bullish scenario, where then you could be looking to trade this back up to the midpoint. Essentially, if you're range bound and you're looking to trade the range, that's exactly what you'd look to trade. I'm more bearish on the midterm. Okay, but as I tweeted out today, I think this is like an important one that I will refer to. I don't normally refer to my tweets, but oh, I'm vain. This is one that I wanted to refer to, that not so much everything else, but an open mind. Okay, let me just read it for you, because I think this is so words of wisdom. Self-control is a must. Okay, control of greed is a must. Good money management is a must. And risk control is a must. And an open mind and the ability to change your entire perspective from bullish to bearish, or vice versa, in the blink of an eye, are all necessary attributes and abilities of a profitable trader. Okay, why do I refer to this now? Because I will absolutely tell you, I am bearish on Bitcoin. I'm expecting lower prices. I'm expecting lower prices on Ethereum. And I'm expecting lower prices on Bitcoin. Okay, so I would tell you very openly now, I'm in short positions, quite substantial short positions, and I'm bearish on Bitcoin. Okay, but if I see the reasons to change, what you need to remember is, like this, I can change my bias from bearish to bullish. Okay, I have no ego on that side of things, of saying I'm bearish, I'm sticking bearish, and I don't want to say that I'm wrong. Okay, I will flip like this if I see a reason to on the chart to bullish tomorrow. Okay, I will not ever hold a bias, and maybe one week I'll be like right now, I can say I'm bearish on Bitcoin, I'm expecting lower prices, but let's say, in the next, few days, something on the chart gives me a reason to say, okay, for example, we're bouncing from the bottom of this parallel, we're holding up support. I can then change to bullish to essentially trade this back up to the midpoint or the top of the range, So you need to have that as a trader. You can't stay bearish and only look for bearish views, and you can't stay bullish and just not admit when you're either wrong or just don't wanting to change. It is really a requirement to be able to have that skill, or not. It's not really a skill, is it? But that acceptance of going from bullish to bias, like changing biases like this, if you see a requirement on the chart. Obviously there's one thing with every pump going bullish and every dump going bearish and flip-flopping every day depending on the move. That's obviously not what I'm meaning here, but if you see a significant reason on a chart to change bias, that's what I'm referring to, not flip-flopping every day, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Absolutely, that would be the wrong thing to do. Like we can still say on the midterm we're bearish, but on the short term we're bullish. That's also acceptable. So what we could say is the midterm, if we bounce here, we could still be bearish, but expecting prices to go higher, but then we're looking to short higher to then trade it overall down lower. That's also acceptable, obviously. But yeah, overall I'm bearish on Bitcoin, expecting lower prices to come. I will definitely be aware of this channel, of whether we start to move back up to the midpoint. If, I guess, although my opinion it's not the most likely, but you know, things can change. If we start to do this, hold the midpoint, hold the top, and then move up from here, well, yeah, then absolutely we have to be looking back up to 9,250, 9,700, and you start breaking above 10k, and I think we'll move swiftly up to 13k. But yeah, on right now I'm bearish. I'm expecting lower prices. Keep your eye on the bottom of this channel. It's going to be very pivotal of what happens here. I mean, you could hold the 786 and move up here, but I do think that's also less likely. That's obviously from some light to low. It's holding right now, but I would say you're more likely to get a move down. Okay, another move down here. Obviously, that's no guarantee. There's never a guarantee in trading, but I would say it's more likely to get another move down. That's obviously, yeah, that's all I would say. It's possible that 786 holds here. One could say that it's more likely you're going to come up to the midpoint if you reclaim the 8k. Okay, if you reclaim 8k, then you could trade that up to, well, really your next daily level or the highs here, which are coming in at around 8423 if you reclaim 8k. Trade it into 8178 and then back up to 82. Okay, if you manage to reclaim these levels. Okay, now I guess you could try and aim for the top, but doesn't seem the most likely right now in my opinion. So yeah. So what some of the questions that I've got here. Exactly, the RSI will show oversold and the price is still in a downtrend. Yeah, that's correct. RSI will show oversold and it's still in the downtrend, but that's good. Okay, like people will be like looking at RSI oversold and be like, okay, it's oversold, I need to buy, and that's not the case. You can stay oversold for so long, doesn't mean it's a buy signal. 100%. I bet you're oversold. Let's go up to the 1 hour. I bet you're oversold here. Where the hell is the? Oh yeah, I don't have it here. Let's just load up RSI and see, shall we? Okay, we're coming a little bit up from oversold right now, but people are going to be like, oh yeah, we're oversold. 15-minute, yeah, hourly, we're oversold. So like people are going to be down here saying, oh, we need to buy right now. We've got some bullish well, to be honest, you do have bullish divergences here. So you do have a higher low and a lower low here currently. So you got some bullish divergences on the 1 hour potentially on the 786. But just because you're oversold, it definitely does not mean that the price cannot continue to go down. This could just fall off a cliff right now. It could, but yeah, you are getting a bit of bullish divergences here. But yeah, this definitely, you know, trends, for instance, when we refer to a trend, you know, if you were looking to sell because the RSI was oversold at, you know, this is an extreme reading, you know, price RSI reaching 88, okay, and you miss out on the hold of the move because maybe you're like, I don't want to buy because it's overbought here, and then essentially, you know, you continue up. Prices can stay oversold and overbought for an extended periods of time. Yeah, divergences I don't think are really good. When there is a divergence between price and more than one indicator, for example RSI and MACD, does that make the divergence stronger and more probable to play out? Even if you see two indicators saying the same thing, I think you really need to see a confluence. Let's say we start seeing bullish divergences coming in here on the MACD, on the RSI, on oscillators, all your divergences, let's say, are saying bullish, and then you have the confluence, okay, of a horizontal level, let's say the daily. Well, yeah, that gives you very high confidence in a bounce, okay? But just two indicators alone, I would say I would be wary of it. Obviously, it could definitely play out, but myself, I would want to see it coming down onto for me, a strong a strong support or resistance, which for me is Fibonacci, for me is horizontals. Those for me are the two strongest levels. So if I see an indicator in confluence with them, then I'd jump over it. But if I see the divergences on their own with nothing else, then not so much. So what we could say here is you're seeing the 786 fib. Oh, that's divergence is gone now because it goes from the close. But if you start to see bullish divergences here on a fib, and you also believe that there's a horizontal level here, then that's when it starts to add up. But necessarily just two divergences on their own with nothing else, and I wouldn't do it. What about using historical volatility percentage as an indicator for the big moves? Another one that I've never ever used. Okay. Yeah, I have never used this indicator, so I couldn't give an opinion on it, if I'm honest. I couldn't give you an opinion on this. It might be good, it might be bad, but I have no idea about this indicator. Never used it, never studied it, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, I'm not gonna be able to help you with this indicator. Daniel, just tell people that the best indicator is price action. The other indicators are just confirmations for your price action. Price action, best leading indicator. That exactly is kind of what I want to get across to people. This comment right here, but I think with time I'll get it across to people. But it's just I had such an influx of messages, it was crazy. But yeah, overall that is the exact right thinking. That price action is all you need. All you need is candles essentially on the chart. You don't need anything. Candles, Elliott waves, Fibonacci, like these are not indicators. They're leading essentially. So yeah, that's what you want to see. So yeah, good comment. When you look for divergences with OBV, do we use candle bodies like with RSI, or can we use wicks? Well, really, I would be looking for the wicks. Okay, I would be going for the wicks on OBV, because it's looking at it's going to be like looking at the overall volume. So you could go from wicks on the OBV. That's fine to look at the wicks. I don't see any MFI values on. Yeah, for some reason that MFI is totally glitched out. I have no idea right now why it's not working on some of those alts. Apologies for that. Lots of Dan, what's good, man? Great stream. Lots of great. No worries, man. I feel like tonight, if I'm honest, I feel like tonight has not been my best stream. I think it's because it's been like indicators, man. Where can we find the volume node indicator? So if you come over to TradingView here and click on add indicators, it's going to be called volume. Oh, what do they call it on here? They call it they got a special name on TradingView. Oh man, what do they call it? They call it I mean, I've got it saved. Let me just see, because I load it up straight away. This is called, what do they call it on TradingView? It's called volume profile. VPVR. Sorry, my mind went blank. VPVR is what you'll need to type in. VPVR. Volume profile. Visible range. Okay, that's what you want. Visible range. So if we just remove here, okay, go to indicators, type in visible. Oh my god. Visible range. Or just type in VPVR and click on let's type in eyeball range, and then you'll add it to the side. What I do is I make an adjustment to this, so I'll load up what I've got. Okay, you'll double click on this, and I've changed it to 124 row size. Okay, 70, 124, specifically 124. Otherwise the blocks look horrible. I also changed the colors. But yeah, that's how you get volume profile. It's pretty useful, to be honest. It is decent. So we can say that the point of control right here, point of control here on this type of consolidation is coming in at 8,100. You also have another high volume node on the daily. So that daily, one would imagine, is really, really strong resistance, basically, at 8,400, let's say. And this is obviously strong resistance at 8,170. So you got strong resistances coming in here. Okay, you start to break above here, and look, there's nothing. Well, you need to zoom out, obviously, but this is visible range, so whatever's on the screen, it's going to adjust to. Yeah. Obviously, you can use session volume and stuff, but this is for another lesson, I think. I don't want to go over that tonight. How do you look for the volume profile? Yeah, hopefully I've just shown that one. Absolutely love watching you draw levels. Please do more of this. Yeah, that I think that's like good about the champion stream. Obviously, where we're doing this all together, and I need to draw out all the levels. And I think for me, it's like people love it because I can do it like really quick, and then yeah. Moving on. Bat is pumping hard. Ah, have I missed Bat? Ah, yeah. Well, congratulations if anyone done that aggressive entry. I've missed my entry, man, and that's why I need to. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, that's so annoying. Like, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not that annoyed. Who cares? But yeah, there you go. There's Bat moving up. What do you think about using MACD to help you identify your Elliott wave count? I prefer an awesome oscillator, so I would refer to awesome oscillator over MACD. Can you please give strategy for break below the big golden pocket? Is it 4K, 6K, or 4K potential? Oh man, look at this, 8%. Like, you don't understand how much. Could have made a lot of money off that. But anyway, what did the 4 hour close like? No, right. So the 4 hour closed really bullishly. But you see how like the 15-minute trend change, if you're aggressive on alts, is like a really good way to look for that change. And literally, this was from breaking that high. So let's just see what that was like. Yeah, literally, you see this? Took the high and you kind of just took off. So from taking that high, 4%, 5% gain, 5% gain in literally half an hour. Like, so crazy. And this is what I mean by like aggressive buys. So when you're looking for these aggressive buys, this is like, okay to buy with strength. This is what I'd call buying with strength. Like, it's okay to market buy in these situations. I miss this. Anyway, who cares? Missed it now, haven't I? What was the question? Can you give strategy for? Okay, yeah. So obviously I should cover that. If we break down from 7K, I think it's like a real. I don't expect it to happen next week, but if we break down from 7K and we start breaking below the golden pocket, really, you got to trade it back into this level here. I would trade it back into 6.5. If you break down from 6.5, to be honest, I think it's very likely that you come test 4K. Don't think this is going to hold up too much. I think I really want to see 7K hold. If you lose 7K, you're coming down to 6.5. 6,000 obviously being the level of 2018. But overall, if you start losing 6.5, I think you can easily see 4K or new all-time lows. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I'm expecting this to be a wave 2 and we move up for all-time highs. Okay, that can be wrong though. If we start losing 6K, I would change that bias very, very quickly to looking for shorts. Well, I guess I'm already in a short right now, but I'm looking to buy around here. Obviously, I want to see what the reactions, etc., confirmation. But yeah, if we lose 7K, look to trade it down to 6.5. And then if you start losing that, trade it down into 4K, 6K, then 4K. Don't expect this to hold up too much, to be honest. Then if you lose that, you're looking at all-time lows again. Well, all-time lows is the wrong word. All-time lows of this year, new yearly lows, okay? I'm not expecting that, if I'm honest, on Bitcoin, but it's hard to say. If we just crash straight down through, then that's a different story. But yeah, as it stands right now, I'm still looking for something like this. It's under the actual indicator, but down lower list. Don't you think the zero lag MACD indicator gives a better pre-run to the normal MACD? Zero lag MACD. Is that just not the standard MACD? I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not clued up on all these indicators, if I'm honest. I don't know what the zero lag MACD. Zero lag MACD. So I don't know what this guy's made, but I don't use it. I mean, it's really, really hard for me to comment or give opinions on these indicators that I've never used. It's really difficult. I really have no idea because I don't use this, so I cannot really give you a fair opinion on it. I mean, I'd just say if you want an opinion from me, then Awesome Oscillator is brilliant. But from the zero lag MACD indicator, I cannot give you an opinion because I've never ever used that. I've just used standard MACD. So I really can't give an opinion on it, if I'm honest, of whether it works or not. I would say it probably doesn't, but I don't know. Not used it. And I'm going to call it a night. Yeah, I kind of like really feel like apologizing. Like, I don't know, myself, I don't know. I feel it's not been my best work with these indicators. I don't know. Maybe I'm beating myself up a little bit. I hope that you've enjoyed it tonight. I hope that you're looking forward to me starting Fibonacci because I think that's going to be brilliant. I hope that it has helped you nevertheless. Obviously, I've given you a rundown of some indicators. The reason why I think I don't like it as well is because I'm like promoting, for instance, the stochastics and RSI, and I know I don't ever use it. You know, I've referred you to the ADX, but I don't ever use it. So I'm kind of referred you to some tools which I think are going to help you as a beginner trader. If you're a beginner here tonight, it's going to help you understand, you know, referring to, you know, things like the zigzag. Never ever you're going to see me use this, but you know, it might help you if you're a newer trader. So I hope tonight has helped you in that regards. At least somebody here it's helped, of what you can look to use. And I guess you're ready and hyped for my best work on fibs, yeah, which is going to be starting this month. So there's that to look forward to, I guess. And if you've enjoyed tonight, then great. I hope you have, nevertheless. So yeah, thanks everybody. Yes, so I will give that up. Obviously, I've posted it in the Champions chat. If you haven't all seen it, I am out tomorrow. Obviously, I got my granddad's funeral, so I'm not going to be back till Friday. So I think it's very unlikely. Just so the contenders know as well, I probably won't do a trading update. I generally don't do them on weekends. You've probably noticed, but on the weekends. But specifically tomorrow, obviously, you know, being my granddad's funeral, I am not going to be doing any trading tomorrow. So just so you're aware of that. Specifically, I'd respect, I guess, if you don't at me. Yeah, I don't really want to focus on trading tomorrow. I'm sure you all appreciate that. So if you can try and not at me on Discord, that would be great. But anyway, just for tomorrow, if that's cool. So yeah, obviously I got that. And yeah, this is what went with. Obviously, I've done the 6-6 now after extensive backtesting. Works very great. I hope you've all adjusted now your golden pocket, which we've named the Champions Channel, which I thought was a real great suggestion by Imi. CC Champions, the Champions Channel. So if you ever see CC written now, so if I say, for instance, oh, here we've dropped down to the CC, that's what I'm referring to as the new golden pocket, essentially, because I've changed this to the 6-6. So it's no longer the 6-5. Make sure you've changed this to 6-6. This is the Champions Channel. That's what we're going to be winning on. Off of the new 6-6. And we obviously had some, I put in a few ideas. And I like this suggestion, so I went with it. But if you see me referring to CC, then that's what that means. Cool. Let me just read these final few comments, and then I am going to call it a night, everybody. Thank you. Take some rest. Thank you very much. Yeah, cheers, everybody. Yeah. I also think that, like, Raging Clams comment, like, this is kind of why I think tonight, you know, I think that is true. And tonight I feel was like a little bit of for me, a requirement to do, just for the, honestly, I've never seen anything like it. So many questions about it. Indicators was unreal. I just wanted to clear it up, and hopefully I won't have any more questions or emails about that, but we'll see. Great stream as always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh god, you guys are great. Thank you honestly so much, and I fully expect everyone to be active tomorrow, like helping out in the community. And you know, you all know what you do throughout the day. You know, there's still good charts when I'm not around, so you know, it'll be nice to see you all doing well tomorrow, I guess. You know, my perspective on Bitcoin, I would look to short a rise. Let's see if we can get down to the bottom of this channel. I guess I'll give like a bullish perspective just in case we do randomly pump tomorrow. Okay, so if we do get a random pump out of nowhere, okay, I'll be looking up to the first highs of 8180, let's say, 8360. Okay, if you start doing this, then you'd look to trade it into that daily. That would be my next. That would be a bullish trade for me. If you sort of reclaim backtest that, trade it then up to daily, see how you go at that daily level. Okay, but that's a little bit of an overview if we do manage to find support, or if you keep seeing lots of long wicks onto this level as well, then that's also a sign of potential strength where you could look to trade it at least up to here, or then are you getting a rejection? But overall, I am bearish. That just in case we start to see some bullish signs come in overnight, you know, maybe we get another drop down here. Okay, then you start getting your bullish divergences on the bottom of the channel. That would be nice to trade it back up as well. Specifically, just make sure you got on this 4-hour channel. I do think it's really nice, to be honest with you. And that's everything here. So yeah, thank you everybody so much. I'll catch you next week where we are going to be going over Fibonacci. I hope that you're all hyped for that, because honestly I think this is going to be so helpful. Well, what I'm debating doing is next week, actually, I want to kind of cover stocks and then start fibs on the, which would be the 30th, so end of the month more or less. Just next week I'm debating, I'm gonna see, but I'm debating like doing that one on stock market, just because I'm gonna be starting doing stocks. Obviously we got our stock channel as well. I know the majority here aren't for that, you're all here for crypto, and don't get me wrong, I'm always going to focus primarily on crypto, or at least the foreseeable future, all about crypto, but I'd like to give some ideas about stocks, so I'm going to see how it goes. But at the very latest, fibs will be starting on the 30th, potentially next week. Yeah, hope you are looking forward to that, and yeah, I'll catch you throughout the chat. Any questions, drop me an email or just send me a DM on Discord, or obviously if you don't need the DMs, and just put it into, you know, I also think it's good to put it in the group chat personally, because firstly someone else could benefit from me answering your question. Secondly, if you're asking a question that others know, they can help you out with not needing me as well, you know, there's that community aspect. So I always kind of say, like, ask in the group chat first. If you don't get a response, then absolutely you can DM me, but you know, the group chat, you know, even if I'm answering to your question, and then other people benefit from the question as well, so it kind of, I always think it's a good idea to use Discord for this. But I'm going to end with that, and yeah, thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's take a look at BAT. Can't believe I missed this one, man. That's so annoying. To be honest, I'm going to look to buy on a retrace after that. How's ZRX doing? Oh, ZRX as well. Well, ZRX is not too bad because I'm in this one, but that was another one. Just like, you know, these are my two favorite. I'll end with ZRX, the comparison between ZRX and basic attention token. Like, this is why I love trading these coins. Like, how similar do these moves look to you? You know, how similar do these like sort of, obviously I've lost everything, but how similar is this? Okay, basic attention token to ZRX, like, literally how similar is this? I think it's real similar. I love trading these two coins. I'm currently in ZRX, by the way. I think this coin is lovely as well. This is what, oh, so this is like, you can see how, so this is one that I also gave on the trading updates of what I'd be scalping today, and ZRX has gone great for scalping over so many days now. But look at this. I'll just end with this series of fibs as a little preview of how you can make money. Low to high, golden pocket, or what did I call it? Champions channel. I like that name. Low to high, the Champions channel, bounce. Low to high, Champions channel, bounce up to the weekly, and then from your, this fib, from your low, okay, from the golden pocket low to the high, Champions channel, and a bounce. So that is obviously from low to high. Then you're taking your new fib from that low to high, and then you're taking this fib from this low to high. Okay, so you can see that you're going from the Champions channel low to the high, Champions channel low to high, and then again, if you get a new high, then you're going to take your fibs from this Champions channel to the new high if it comes. But yeah, this, like, ZRX has been like insane for making money. And look at this on the 5 minute. This was yesterday. Again, you had from low to high, pull back literally to the cent there on the 618 here. Like, I've made so much money on ZRX, and then you literally bounced off of here up to the negative 618, which is also your weekly level, which was also a swing failure pattern on the highs. Like, that's just what you call confluence. And then obviously you see that great confluence, you get a rejection, Then you get your rejection. Where did you fall down to today? Obviously, we're looking originally at the daily level, but a daily didn't hold. You then came back into from your old fib pool of that Champions channel. You've got another bounce from the 618 up here, and that's another big move, by the way. 16%, pretty crazy. So let's see if we can get this on bat. Not quite the same strength right now, but yeah, they're both lovely to trade, along with XRP in my opinion. This is also really nice. But yeah, they're my favourite alts right now. Those three in particular. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed tonight. We're seeing a little bit of a move up here on Bitcoin, so that's pretty nice to see. And yeah, thank you everybody, and I'll catch you next week, I guess. Cheers and good night. Bye bye bye.